Okay, I would like to welcome my dear friend, Sharon Gaskill. She and I met years ago, and I'll let her tell who she is and, tell her business name.
My business is White Bluff Tattoo Company. It's a tattoo shop, obviously, on the south side. I've owned it for over 7 years now.
Yeah, she's awesome. And I'll just go into how I met her because I think that's like the best place to start. I was a bartender for years, and the best bar I ever worked at, sorry, all the other bars I worked at, was Social Club on Congress Street. And the reason I liked it was because the shift started at 10 p.m. Yeah, I liked the Monday night shift. So I liked that shift because I would go in at 10 p.m. I could put my kid to bed and still be a mom. And it was a fun environment. And that's where I met you.
Yeah, I remember it was like a lot of locals that would go there all the time. I'm not sure how it's changed because I know as locals now we don't really go to Congress Street anymore. It's
right.
Weird.
And you would come in often. All the bartender boys loved Sharon.
Oh.
And me, of course. She came in, she tipped well, and I don't know, she was easy breezy. She was always cute as a button and very well put together. So tell us a little about how did you get into tattooing?
I've really always wanted to tattoo. I remember when I was a kid, I'd always be drawing or painting, and I had a really tattooed babysitter from England, and my dad loved her because no one would hire her.
That's cool.
And he was like, oh, well, she's always available. She's so great. She'd always like draw and paint with me. I remember thinking she was like so cool. So I think it was always instilled that I wanted to draw, I wanted to paint, I wanted to tattoo. And then as I got older, I got a scholarship to SCAD, and the rest was kind of history.
So was she a good babysitter?
Yeah, she was fun.
Yeah. So you like legit like vibed with her.
Yeah. She
looked up to her.
She lived with us too because my mom had a lot of like mental health issues. So she was like just there.
So she was like a comfort.
Yeah. She was great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like a big sister. So when I met you,
I was at SCAD still.
You were at SCAD still?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I just got my apprenticeship, I think, at the butcher.
Gotcha. So when I met you, you were apprenticing already?
I think I maybe have just got it.
Okay, cool. So she is very talented, but I didn't know that. I mean, she was just a bar patron, not just a bar patron. She was one of my favorites. But she was a bar patron that would frequent often, and she worked at a strip club across the bridge, which is actually everyone's favorite strip club. And I would go there sometimes. So when we would get off of our shift, the strip club would stay open a couple hours past. So the bartenders in town, if we were still awake and still going for, still, the adrenaline's still there when you get off of a bar shift, especially if it was a tough one. But what I really liked was I just really liked who you were as a person. She carries herself very well. I always say feed the queen. That's like my motto for myself. But Sharon's always carried herself very much as a queen, like very soft-spoken, well-spoken, and kind, and exudes sexual. Like she's very sexy.
I wish you would tell this to all of my exes.
I will just give them my number. But I've always just thought a lot of her. And then it was really fun for me as a bartender in the service industry to watch someone else in the service industry take this. And this is why I've always just kind of clung to you or like kept in touch with you.
Yeah.
Because you really made such a huge name for yourself and have a great business. And I've watched you grow. So that was really fun because we both kind of went from service to...
Well, I remember coming in, we'd both be so drained because customer service especially working at a bar where people are drinking all the time is so draining. Yes. Especially, being a female bartender or stripper or whoever and having men, hit on you all night. It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
Because, obviously, you're just playing the game, and then eventually you're just I don't want any man to talk to me for, 24 hours.
You don't even want... people didn't understand. And then when I would go have drinks with my friends on my night off, when I finally had, because I was a single mom, so when I finally would have a night... That's the last fucking thing that I wanted to do was entertain small fucking talk.
No, not at all. I don't care. I just don't care.
I think it's please, just let me have
a drink with my friends. But I think we both really owned our journey. I think we're just okay, we can't do service. It's not that any disregard to service industry. I appreciate all of my service industry friends. They, keep me fed and drunk and happy. But
yes, they're my favorite people. I have my favorite places in town, and actually our mutual one of our favorites in town is Ashley that works at Savoy Society.
Love her.
I was already thinking of having Sharon on, and Ashley mentioned it, and I was like, dude, I was already thinking that. She's awesome.
Yeah.
And she's a great judge of character. I want to give her a business card because she has so many good ideas for the podcast. I'm just going to get her. I don't know what we'll name her, but I want to give her a business card because she's got such good, it's fun to have a fan. And she is a fan of yours too. And I was already thinking of having you on. So yeah, same. I have my people. I have my places I love
and I just think that we had an exit plan, even if it felt like we had no plan at all.
No, it was like, I mean, if I'm right, we were figuring it out as we go.
Yeah, I had no idea. I just like woke up one day and the tattoo shop I was working at the time was for sale. And I remember it being like 20 grand. And I was looking at all the money I was making, which like some nights could be like thousands of dollars, and I was like, I can fucking do that. And I was 22, and I was like, I remember calling my dad. I'm like, I'm gonna buy a tattoo shop, and he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because like, he's like, you're 22 years old, you dropped out of school. Like, what do you mean you're gonna buy a tattoo shop? And like, he's very supportive. Don't get me wrong. He's like, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, we all have those people that like the dream crushers, but really they have your best interest at heart.
Yeah. He just didn't want to see me have my heart broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but I was like, if I don't try and fail, at least I'll like never forgive myself.
And that's exactly how I was with Beettan. And my thing was Beettan was like an outlet for me, which I'm sure being a tattoo artist was for you too.
Yeah.
Like it's a different type of service. It's like you're doing something. It's like your art, my reasons for doing it were so much more than my sister. It was like, I felt like I was doing something good for myself. So I didn't really care if I failed. It felt so good.
Yeah. I mean, I also really enjoyed seeing, like, I had a lot of tattooers move here, one of which is, like, one of my very good friends, Mira Yael, who is right down the street.
Next door.
But
yeah.
she was miserable in Florida, and I was just so happy, like, not that it was me, but I was just happy to watch her grow as an artist. Like, I remember when I was going to hire her, like, we both went through apprenticeships at the same time, and I think my business partner at the time wasn't, like, super sold on her. And now, like, her work is incredible. She's living her best life. Like, she's so happy, and I'm just happy to give people, like, access to what they want in life. Like, I want my business to be, like, their environment, too.
And that's why you became successful.
Yeah, I want everyone to feel at home and feel like they're, living their best life.
And you can tell the difference in a business when someone, and nothing against someone who is just good at business and has the money or whatever. I think you can tell when there's a passion and a whole different push behind why or what they're doing versus someone who's creative, who has a good idea with a bank account and then gets someone else to run it or passes it off or wants to sell a business. The vibe is different, and people, I think the longevity, like you're also with service and obviously with tattooing, you just get those lifers. So really the business is more sustainable because I think it takes less money to upkeep it because you don't have to do as much marketing because it's more relationship based.
It's always a fortune running a business, but I mean, it's just not, I don't know. The main goal for me is to have everyone happy. Like if all my artists are having, I mean, obviously you can't make everyone happy, which is, I think my biggest flaw is that I will literally beat myself up if someone's having a bad day. I'm like, oh my God, what could have I done better for them,
Yes.
And sometimes you just have to accept that people have bad days.
Yes, I have a friend that has a hair salon, and she's dealing with the same thing. Like she sometimes brings home she absorbs the personal issues because you work so closely in an industry like this. Like you work so closely with those people that and especially if you're leading them because you're the owner, so you're considered a leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't help it bringing that shit home.
Luckily, everyone at my business is super close. I mean, I've had and lost a lot of artists,
which is normal.
Yeah, all of which I think we're on good terms. Sorry if we're not.
Well, at least it is in your head, so that's great.
Yeah, I was like, I think we're all fine. But over the years, like, even with all that, I still, if they were to ever reach out, like, want them to know that, like, I'm just so grateful that they were part of, like, my journey and my business's journey.
Yeah,
like,
same.
I don't want them to feel, even if there was bad blood, I don't want them to feel that way because I really genuinely am grateful for the time, the experience, and, like, the journey we went on. Because my business is, I'm proud of it, and I want people to be proud to be a part of it. So,
and your customers and your clients can probably tell, or I know that they can feel that when they come in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the vibes change over the years. Like, it's there's definitely been some stressful moments. And
Yeah.
but now everyone's so chill. I think everyone gets along super well. I think there's not a whole lot of the initial business starting drama.
Mm-hmm.
The beginning business starting drama is...
Well, you're navigating how to be a business
Yeah,
owner.
and also navigating being in my young 20s.
Yeah, I can't even believe... can I just say this? I cannot even believe that she started a business at 22. I started a business in my early 20s and it tanked. I bought into a franchise. I just did everything did everything the way that everyone else said I should do it instead of listening to my own instincts, and then had to restart again so to see her grow and learn, and also being someone that's older than her, not it was really refreshing to see her thrive. I saw it.
I appreciate that.
Because I literally saw her go from service industry and then back and then pull away from that and then go towards into her business. And then because I follow her on social media, bitch was traveling before I ever was traveling. Going different, I was like,
if anyone wants to buy me anything, a ticket to Italy is always appreciated.
Yeah, I mean, I would just watch her and be like, it really is inspiring because I sometimes live vicariously through you because of, I sent Gav to college, but there have been times I should have said yes and should have went on that trip and should have done it.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. And so sometimes watching you, I'm like, damn, I'm so glad. It's so happy to see. It's not an envious thing. It really, it makes me happy to see you doing that.
I love seeing my friends especially thrive. It just makes me feel good to live such a full life.
And let's just put that vibe out there. Be happy when people are thriving and doing well.
It's there's no reason.
The karma of that will come back to you. Be happy for people. And
it's okay. It's okay to be happy for someone else, even if it's not someone you genuinely
vibe with or have any common ground. Just be happy for them.
Even some of my exes or ex-friends, it's nice to see, even though they were probably not the best people back then. It's nice to see people grow and change and blossom into themselves, because I wasn't always the best person in my opinion. I'm always trying to be the best version of myself. Sometimes I'm not.
Well, I think you and this is just me knowing you. It doesn't feel good. If I make a mistake, it doesn't, and I overreact or I'm mean to someone or I'm gossipy or whatever, the end result does not feel good.
No.
It is not a good feeling, but it doesn't feel good to be mean to someone. It might feel good for 2 minutes to vent.
Yeah, but venting and, being malicious are two different.
Right. Yes. Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome anytime.
Thank you. But what I'm saying is you always have been a cheerleader. I've never seen you be a hater.
Yeah.
Ever. I feel like
we're all guilty of being catty. Because we're women.
Yes.
But I don't know. I think also a big thing that helped me with my personal confidence in myself was recognizing what was triggering the cattiness or the insecurities. Smart. You know what I mean? Just doing some self-work really helped me. And also I'm a big fan of people going to therapy, guys.
Same. Therapy, meditation, journaling, I would be a big ball of post-trauma energy if I didn't do the work on myself. So it's so big of you to say that, admit that, but it's actually very true.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our shit, and I definitely have had to grow up a lot faster than other people because of my past, but it's good to recognize that and also talk to a doctor. I don't know, if they say take Prozac, maybe take some Prozac.
Do what's right for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't let the stigma, don't let anyone get in your way of your self-healing. Obviously, maybe don't do anything too extreme.
Right. I tell Gavin, my son, all the time, I say, too much of anything is a bad thing.
Yeah.
But figure out your path and go with what feels right for you.
Yeah. If someone needs weed for mental health, I personally don't smoke, but whatever makes you better.
My kid needs weed for mental health.
Yeah.
He tried to tell me that and I was like, whatever, dude, you're a pothead. But it actually,
excuses.
But and I told it exactly, but I told him in moderation, if you're doing it to numb, that's one thing. But if you're doing it and I had a drinking podcast where which we're drinking now, but I literally took after being 60 days sober with Emily Bergeron, I took shot after shot of tequila.
Amazing.
And
did you feel terrible?
I was coming out. I actually didn't, but I just did tequila and water.
Yeah. You kept it simple.
I did. Yeah. And so I didn't mix it with anything, and I ate prior. But They were trying to get some, like, I'm pointing that way because Missy, my podcast producer's right there. Hey, Missy. They were I think Emily was trying to get some, like, sass of Michelle out of me, but I was coming out of, like, therapy and self-help, but like a life coach. So all I was just a big ball of love. And at the end of the podcast, I said, if you're drinking alcohol, because I wanted to glorify soberness too. People who need to be sober, be sober.
I think taking a little break,
it's so smart.
Even if
I take a sip of wine,
it's so smart. I mean, even if it's a night a week where you're just like, I don't know, do I really need that drink? Because Lord knows there's nights where I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely need that drink.
Yeah. And then like pay attention to how you feel like after your actions. You're like, and we know this from working in the bar world, if you know the people that come in and you can tell by the look on their face that they're numbing something that they're not dealing with. But if it's just like, for me, my brain goes 90 million miles an hour. So it slows me down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean...
But I'm not numbing. I have had moments in my life where I was numbing. And that's what I said at the end of that podcast. If you're doing it to numb and forget instead of deal, it's going to catch up with you. It's just going to. So therapy, dealing with stuff. And then you can come out of, whether it's big trauma, little trauma, whatever, you can come out on top of things.
I mean, no one feels...
Sharon's like a big...
Great staying up till 4 o'clock in the morning, especially like even when I was younger, I'd be like, why did I do like the night? I don't even know how the night stops being fun at a certain point. Like, I guess unless you're like at the strip club till 6 a.m. But like if you're just drinking in someone's house, at some point you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and then the next day you're like, why am I shaking?
Yeah, but I also think like a good part.
It's like, do I have another drink or do I have water? I'm not really sure which one is going to help me now.
I have 6 beverages at any given moment. I have like smoothie, water, coffee.
They still laugh at me. Jay Chris could go in and order chocolate milk, coffee, orange juice, water. Like I would have all the things, and they're like, "Do you want to eat food?" And I'm like, "Not yet."
I just need to get through one of the 6 beverages. But even with dancing, I took a break. I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, I want to make sure I can do it sober. Oh,
I like that.
Like I had a lot of when I was trying to date while being a dancer. Like a lot of guys would be like, "Oh, like I don't know if I can because you're a dancer." I was like, but you'll date a bartender who also flirts. You know what I mean? Like it's
the same.
Yeah, it was just the stigma.
I don't know. I dealt with some stigma as a bartender.
Yeah, and I tell guys,
I worked at an outside courtyard bar in Savannah. I would be half naked most of the time, and it wasn't graceful like with you. It
wasn't always graceful.
I'd have to carry a big keg up the stairs. I'm like, none of this is cool, but it's still very similar. It's someone else's perspective, like what you do. And I'm only saying this because I know personally now because I took a pole class and I know how hard it is. It's like a whole different level of
tip your local stripper.
Yes, it's a whole different level of skill. And on top of working in the service industry, it's a whole different, I have a whole new mad respect for it.
It's crazy that you learned it so quick, too.
I can't even believe I did. No, I told everyone I was doing it and then went to the class. I couldn't even hold myself up. So, but I'd already put it out there that that's what I was doing. So there was
you manifested it, for sure.
Yeah,
and then you couldn't you couldn't be a liar.
No.
So a lot of things, you're not a liar.
And now it's like something I enjoy. Like, I went to a class today and I was having a weird day with business. Business just creeps up and life slows down and whatever. And I came out of that class just feeling, it just makes me feel better.
Yeah. I mean, it's really technical and it like requires you to not think about literally anything else.
Exactly. You have to focus.
Like, obviously dancing, like in a professional setting, like a strip club, it requires like so many different levels of things. Like you're a therapist, you are an athletic god at some points, and then on top of that, it's a lot of stamina.
You're a performer.
Yeah.
You're a server.
I pretended like NASCAR for a year. I don't know shit about NASCAR, but the guy would come in and pay me $300 to watch NASCAR with him. So I'd drink Budweiser and Wild Turkey and watch a little NASCAR.
I mean, that's
for $300. I mean,
I would totally.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself liking it at any
after
moment?
a few Wild Turkeys?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
That's funny because that's what I used to drink. That's what I drank. Maybe that's how we vibed.
Well, yeah, at the Jinx, they'd always have
Wild turkey.
Yeah.
With a good old Gil.
Yeah. Yep.
Gil and Tony.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, I liked wild turkey because it's 101 proof. And I found like in my younger years when I would get bought a drink or order a drink or whatever, you just never know how strong someone's going to make it. So then I learned after bartending that by ordering a shot, I could monitor more of my intake and control myself through the night. Also, as a bartender, I knew, all right, if I take I'll look like a badass if I take a shot of turkey. And we had those shot cups that actually weren't full. So I looked like a badass, but I really wasn't taking a full shot, and I could like monitor my intake.
Most of the service industry is playing
tricky
the game.
Yes.
Of how to be like.
And I was the bitch.
Yeah. I mean.
Like, were you friendly? I was no one. I know, like, everyone thought no one could. Well, I didn't have time to talk to anyone. My bar was fast paced.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have to be. It depends on the customer. Some people really like a friendly companion, and some people really just want to be emotionally abused, which is fine. But as far as the dancers
go, those are the people at my bar.
But as far as being a dancer goes, like, you know, some of the girl, like, working in any job, especially a job with like that much competition, like, I mean, it was a lot of. I tried to not see it as competition. Like, if someone did better than me, same thing I try and view in my life. That's
probably what was a big reason why you grew so much as a woman.
I think it made me grow in every aspect. I think sales, totally presenting myself, you know, like I had to lie.
And the fact that you used the skills rather than let it bring you down.
You had to constantly be on your game with conversation, even if you didn't know what you're talking about. On top of that, like, there's going to be girls who are jealous because of the business. Like, someone could walk out, you don't know how the night's going to go. Like, girl could walk out with $2 and I could have walked out with more, or vice versa. Like, someone could just not like girls with tattoos. Like, it's that simple. Like, so it puts a lot of pressure on you as a person. But I think mostly I distanced myself from, like, getting into, like, I had the girls I vibed with, and if a customer was interested in another girl, I'd always be like, you know what, I'll go grab her, even if we weren't cool. Because I'd just be like, you know what, that's where you're going to spend your money.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're just going to sit here and not spend money and leave if I don't grab you the person you want. And it would shock people sometimes because, like, I know people really wouldn't do that if the tables were turned.
Right. But it's always good. You know what? I do that. I do that too in life in general.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, whatever. I don't agree. I don't understand it, but it's the bigger thing to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to do that. And it obviously most of the time worked out in your favor.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially in that environment, it's just about rooting, circling back, it's about rooting for other people.
Exactly.
Like, obviously if someone came to your bar but liked another bartender more, you just let them have it. Like, that's their regular, they know them.
Yeah, like I don't want, well, it still goes into life. Like, I have my team reading a book right now, and it's called A Tribe Called Bliss, but it's all about, and I'm only like one chapter in and I already cried. It's just one of those books. But
okay?
I don't know. I hate when people are mean to people, because people have been mean to me for no reason. People were mean to me when I had a kid young. I always kind of thought, because I had Gav so young, I always felt like I was either way far ahead or way behind, or like it just.
I mean, I can't imagine on top of the stress, like having another child, like having a child to raise. Like, yeah, it was, you know, this. And
he ended up great. He's a wonderful human. Yeah. And so all that shit I was worried about doesn't make any, like, none of it matters.
I mean, I think to a degree, like, putting a little, not too much, but a little pressure on yourself, for me, it's motivation. I know it's, like, sometimes self-sabotaging, but it makes me want to be genuinely better if I'm like, okay, like, you could, like, what would someone else think? I, like, hate thinking about what people think, but it also makes me want to be better. Be like, I don't want people to think
I compete with others, but really I compete with myself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to I've never been in a relationship that went south that I didn't become a better person. Like, I never let someone bring me down. I never had that's never happened. So, but there were harder moments in my 20s when I was like, where I don't fit in anywhere, what is happening, until I bartended. Honestly, then it was like there were so many walks of life. And my first real bartending job that had longevity was Kevin Barry's. So it was cool for me because I met people from all over because it was so touristy, and I didn't have the money to travel. So that, I think, was like a learning experience.
Yeah, I think the service industry can be a great outlet to meet.
Absolutely. I think everyone should have to do it.
And everyone should have to do it. It should be like a high school course.
Like a high school, college course. Like you should have to do it. It should be required.
Absolutely. Like for social reasons, for accepting other people reasons, just for like getting to know yourself as a salesperson.
And being able to juggle shit.
Yeah.
Like with a lack of sleep, you
smell weird from spilt liquor.
Yeah. And food, and if you're involved in food too, food is like the worst.
Yeah. I worked at a strip club that had a seafood tower.
Wow.
It was a really nice one, but like, why?
I don't know.
And another one with an omelet bar at like an all-you-can-eat omelet bar that would start at 5 a.m. So the whole club started smelling like eggs at 5 a.m.
That is crazy. I mean, and people would, and the thing is it was there because people ordered it.
If you want a good omelet at 5 o'clock in the morning and some naked women, by God.
Which I think no one's going to go to Waffle House if there's a naked woman. I'm just saying. I think that's actually pretty good. Only, and then the people that would rather have Waffle House will go to Waffle House. Mm-hmm. But that's right. The book, Tribe Called Bliss, like that's what it's like. If they're not in your tribe, if they're not in your team, let it go.
Yeah.
And I think working in the service industry taught me that. You go into a shift, the people that they may come to Sally's bar the next shift and not yours. And you just have to learn to shake it off and build your tribe because you want people that are like building you up. But I love you because we have always connected, and she's so entrepreneurial. Like when I started doing real estate, she'd hit me up and be like, what about this property? What about this? And I'm not the best salesperson because I would real estate because I'd be like, you have a great idea, Sharon, but this costs way too much money and it's going to cost. Like it was hard for me to like push her in that because her business is thriving and she's doing so well. But she has so many.
I feel like I'm constantly thinking of ideas.
And I think that's where we vibe because we just don't stop. It's like, like we'll entertain an idea and you really do it. And every time you ever texted me, it would make me so happy because I'm like, I just love her brain. Yeah,
for sure. And like, I feel like if you and I are sitting down at like Savoy, just like drinking wine, like all of a sudden we're just like bouncing ideas back and forth for no reason.
And we might not, it's like being a kid. It's like being a kid and your imagination. It's like, and sometimes things will grasp on, but we kind of talk about it like it's going to happen or already happening. And that's why it's so fun because it's like being a kid again and dreaming. But the thing is
but now you can be realistic.
We can actually really do it.
You can be realistic about your expectations and what you'd have to do.
Well, look what we did. We can do anything.
Exactly. But also we could sit there and be like, wow, that would be way too much work. Like we have all this shit to juggle.
Or we could like turn it down and be like, nah, it's not for me.
Once you get the logistics, because as a kid you're like, oh my God, I can take over the world. And now you're like, well, that would
then
cost
it's taken
a lot
away
of
from
money.
me by fear. Because we weren't born with fear. We're born. I'm deep into some self-help books right now, but fear is the reason. Like the fear comes in, and that's where.
I mean, it's scary. Owning a business, all of it's scary.
But also, like not doing anything with your life is fucking scary.
That would kill me more than anything.
Me too.
I think like also working in the service industry, I learned that like I like fast cash. I like having money, and I didn't ever really have the ability to do any of these things for myself. Like I had a really good childhood. I'm really like blessed to have my dad as like a single parent, but like I'm traveling the world and living my best life. And
you really are.
Yeah. I really like, and I like cheat sometimes and find like really cheap tickets and just go. I'm like, let's just do it. That. Yeah. Let's just spend the credit card and deal with it tomorrow. Like some of it's glamorous, some of it's just like me.
But that's the fast cash, and I'm having to like retrain my brain after years of the service industry. But I'm really not scared of money. I'm not scared of losing it. Yeah. I have a weird relationship. It's like Monopoly money. It's like I know it. I can make it again, which is silly. Why I haven't traveled as much as you. But I spend money on weird shit. Like I'll buy. I'll throw I throw parties, or I like have theme nights or whatever, because I honestly feel didn't want to travel without Gavin. And by the time I could afford it, he was starting college. So we went to France. We went, we have another trip planned. I'm taking my mom to the Bahamas. Like, I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some guilt there with like leaving him out. And
yeah, I guess so. But also like,
but I need to do it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm very envious.
He'll make his own journey too, because no one,
exactly. Yes, to my microphone.
No one, like, I mean, you've provided him with such a full life. And I mean, how many kids can say that my mom took me to France?
Yeah, that was a great trip. We actually argued half of it. Actually, this is a funny story. So he was like staying, we were with my ex's whole family. My ex did not pay for the trip. I did. And
let that be noted.
Let that be known. Even we're on a separate flight with tickets. I really wanted to experience it with my kid, but truthfully, why I hopped on the plane with my ex's entire family was because my ex's family is great. His sister spoke fluent French.
Yeah.
That part was kind of intimidating. I'm like, I'm going to get there and I'm not going to be able to talk to anyone because we were in the countryside.
Yeah, when I was in Italy not too long ago, someone was like, I love your accent. It's so cute. I was like, oh, how do I sound like? And he just said, y'all. I was like, oh my God. I was like so offended. I was like, no.
You're like, I do not sound like y'all in the States.
I was like,
you don't.
Oh my God. I guess we all sound like that over there.
Oh, whatever. That was a ignorant person. Well, we were friends. Gav was like super grouchy the first 2 days, and I'm trying to like mediate like this entire family in this big, beautiful house by lavender fields and whatever.
Love.
And Gav would not stay in the room, which was so cool. But it was hot because like they didn't have heating and air. It was like this old castle.
It's hard to. Europe's hard to navigate because some places don't have AC.
Well, and it was fine. It was like cold. It was really fine, but where his room was where the sun was like beating in. So he stayed in the cellar, which also had a television, it was the cinema room. Mm-hmm. But it had this big, I'm going somewhere with this. There's this big glass, beautiful door. I mean, I'm talking like this house was like a castle. So like I'm pissed off at him because he's being grouchy, and I'm like, why do you smoke pot so much? This is when it's a problem. When you don't have it, you're grouchy. And he raised his voice at me, and I turned around. I forgot about the glass door, and y'all, I knocked myself out. And then actually it was the best thing that could have happened. That's when we made up. Because he felt so bad that I ran into that glass door when I was being very passionate about him getting along with everyone. He was like, Mom, I'm so sorry. I was like, just I don't want anyone to know that I just ran into that door.
Yeah.
I need you to come up and be fucking nice to everybody and pretend like I didn't just faceplant a door.
Yeah, we are over this right now.
And it literally was the icebreaker. Like,
sometimes
me and Gab were cool.
Run into a glass door. You know?
It made him feel bad that I was so worked up that I fucking did that. And then we walked upstairs, and literally there's a big table, and they had cooked, and we're all like, cheers.
You're like, we are never.
And I'm like, is my eyebrow growing? Because
oh my God.
I was like, how's my look? And he's like, you're good. But it was really funny. It was,
yeah.
But my point being, like, that was my travel experience with my kid. I actually loved seeing his face and him enjoy it. My mom never took me out of the country. Did you ever travel with your dad?
My mom is originally from Ireland.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So my mom was adopted. She's from Ireland. So we went to see her. My mom actually kidnapped me and my brother to Ireland during my parents' divorce. And I just thought we're on like a fun trip.
And then it lasted too long?
Well, then like the
How
U.S.
old
government.
were you?
I was probably, I want to say I was like 8 years old. 9. I don't know. But then the U.S. government, I was like horseback riding on the beach. I was just frolicking all over Ireland with my Irish family. And then all of a sudden my dad called my grandparents, were like, the U.S. court's going to get involved if you don't bring my kids back. And I was like, oh.
Like, I thought I was on a vacation.
Yeah. I was like, we were just, like, I got accepted into, I used to horseback ride competitively. I got accepted into a school out there to do it. I thought, I didn't really think much about not talking to my dad because of the time difference. Like, I was a kid. I didn't know. And later in life,
you were 8.
Yeah. I was like, whoa. So, yeah, I've been to Ireland. And then Florida is really close to the Bahamas. It's like a 30-minute flight. So anytime when my parents were getting divorced, my dad and my mom were like in a rush to spend all of his money because he was like, I want to spend it on you. She wants to take it all. So anytime she would like kind of screw us over because she's mentally ill, my dad would be like, let's go to the Bahamas. And
oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah. And so he was just like constantly like, he knew that the money was coming to an end, but he knew that he didn't want her to have it. He wanted us to have it.
So it's fun, but also traumatic.
Yeah, we had fun trauma. No, so he did the right thing. I mean, otherwise she was just blowing it on Lord knows what. And he's like, I'd rather have these experiences with you.
That's, I mean, what a good dad.
Yeah, he's great.
That's such a good.
Yeah.
It's also really fucked up.
Yeah,
but
it's
also
so
really
awesome.
It's
like, yeah, so like, you know, later in
I bet
life,
when you tell people that story, they just can't even get it.
Most
but
of the stories in my life, people are like,
wait, what?
And I'm just like, oh no, like it's just normal for my childhood.
Because if you to know Sharon, you can't help but love her. But she's very calm, cool, and collected. Like she has her shit together. So it's kind of like off. Like it's like what that happened because she really has her shit together.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like, oh wait, you stripped. I mean, I have to be honest. Like, not everyone you brought in with you from Uncle Harry's or Scores was as put together as you were.
No, I mean,
you were very much the mother hen of the.
Yeah, I'm also like in my family in particular. I have my dad, who's a single dad, and then I have 3 brothers who I'm kind of like mother hen to. Like, my twin brothers are 19, and my oldest brother is 27. So. They come to me with everything, and we're all just super close. Yeah. So I'm just used to being, like, the weird mom figure. That being said, I never want kids.
You don't?
No.
See, I had Gab so young, and that was a struggle. Is that a struggle? Has that been dating? Because it has been for me, because I don't want any. I mean, I was one and done. And I did it on so young. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I think some people, you can tell that they really want a family, and, like, I kind of just... Like anything in life, I just say it out front.
Yeah,
like,
me too.
I'm just like, if you think this is going anywhere, like, just so you know, I'm signing a prenup.
You've been taking care of people your whole life. You don't want to do it.
You're signing a prenup, and I'm not having children.
Yeah.
So.
I love that about you.
Yeah.
She's very authentically and honestly herself.
Yeah, so are you, though.
I mean, but there have been times with men where I can honestly say I wasn't.
I think everyone can say that. I think that's part of navigating how to be in a relationship.
But that's probably why when I found myself in a relationship, I'm like, I don't know why I went this far. This isn't what I want.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard when you see, like, obviously every beginning of a relationship has, like, fireworks and sparks, and, you know, it's always
I actually love that part. I wish I could just have, like, that over and over and over again forever. Like, why is that not a thing?
Yeah, I think when you negate the idea of a white picket fence, and you're just like, okay, like, do I, like... Can we get along? Like, I just want a best friend to vibe with every day. Like, I'm not looking for... But I want someone to be like, oh, hey, babe, like, let's go somewhere. Let's do something. Like, or I want to be able to cuddle. Like, I want...
Well, it's like
I want
equal... Well, I think what we're trying to say is, like, we can be ourselves, and you can be yourselves, and we can find a happy medium. And I haven't... It's always, like, I end up, like, not changing, but kind of, like... just doing more vibing with them more than being my true self. And then, it's cool in the beginning, but I guess I'm answering my own question from earlier. And then I'm like, well, I'm sick of this. I don't really
don't want to water myself down for anyone.
Yes, exactly.
Like, but at the same time, I want someone to be like, hey, you know, you can be better. Like, I want someone to recognize my potential, too. Mm-hmm. Not in a condescending, like, way where they're controlling. I just want someone to be like...
Well, have you had it where they were, like gung-ho and you being a little different or whatever,
yeah, for sure.
And then it changed?
Yeah. They're like...
Then it's like, for me, like, in one of my recent relationships, they were like, well, one wanted my tits out, the other one didn't want my tits out. And I'm like, I always have my tits out. All I am is tits. Yeah. So I don't give a fuck. I'm not having my tits out for you, and I'm not hiding my tits for you.
You don't get a boob job. One does not get a boob job and doesn't have her tits
out. But also, it's like, what the actual, like, what, like, why is this a thing? Because for the first year, this was never a thing. So that's what, you know, I guess men could say the same thing about women, but I feel like I'm pretty much always myself.
Loving how I look and how I present myself, and loving that, like, you know, everything I've done to be me, which is 150% for me, like, from, like, the fake hair to the, like, I'm never shy about it. I'm like, I have Botox and fake lips and fake boobs,
like there's surprises.
No.
Or don't.
I don't even, I'm upfront about it. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, these are real. But then I have guys who are like, oh my God, you're so vain. I'm like, but I thought you liked my vanity. Like, I thought you liked that I wanted to look good.
I don't know. I don't even think you're actually not vain at all. I think you are an artist, and I think that shows true in everything you do. Your hair, your makeup, your eyes, your lips. I think you're a true artist, and you always were.
Yeah.
And I think, actually I know, that you have a true empathy and compassion and understanding for people. And I think it can be intimidating to some people because you kind of have it all and they don't know what the fuck to do with it.
I mean, I think the same can be said for you. I just remember being at your bar when I was like way younger, and everyone had a crush on Michelle, like all walks of life. I even think at one point,
and I hated everyone because I was a single mom. I was there to make money.
I even think at one point my own father was like, "Who is that?" I was like, "Dad, fuck off." I was like, "No, that's my friend." He's like, "Okay." But like,
hilarious.
So like everyone.
Sorry, Dad.
If he's watching this, he's like, "God damn it, Sharon! What the fuck did you tell her that?"
It's not actually the first time I've heard that. So
yeah, but I think everyone builds you like. Maybe this is true for me, maybe it's not true, but everyone builds me up in their head. Like, I am this, like, idea. And it's not, and they forget to, like, look at who I really am sometimes.
I totally get that.
Yeah. And it's like, if you just listen for a second, I'm not sugarcoating it. Like, I'm not always delightful.
You're like, I'm not your narrative. I'm a person.
Yeah.
I am who I am. I can see that. Like, I can see where someone makes you out to be something.
Yeah.
And then you just show up as your awesome self, and you're probably even more intimidating because you're not playing a part. You're actually really fucking cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think the same thing for you. And I also think people, like, everyone says they don't want to settle down. And then we're like, oh, yeah, I totally want a stay-at-home wife. And that's just not going to be us. Like, I would be miserable.
No, I'm a weirdo. I like to do weird shit. And I have to say, I did date one beautiful, wonderful man who literally let me be all that I am in all my glory. And the only thing that broke us up was distance. And we're still friends to this day. And I don't think we'll ever get back together, but we'll be friends for life.
Yeah.
But he really kind of set the standard. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, ever since then, it's like, dude, this don't even make any sense. I'm not going to let you put me in your box.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. No one should. And that person shouldn't settle for someone that they think they have to change.
I love how this went into man mode. But I think we've never talked about this, but I think we have a very common ground on we will be authentically ourselves, and we're not going to settle. And I've had moments where, I've been fucked over and confused, and I think confused, I've been saying this word, this has been the theme of the year for me. And I've made mistakes, not mistakes like the person was a mistake, like I made a mistake for myself. I misjudged what I wanted and needed temporarily, but I always come back to who I am, and I'm true to myself. And that's not like sad or lonely. I think it's beautiful and wonderful.
Yeah.
I love sitting next to a woman who lives just like that.
Yeah. I think also, like, everyone, I don't really have time for hard feelings with my exes. And if they have time for me, then I'm glad I live rent free in your brain.
Exactly.
But
love that.
I mean, honestly, they were a part of my life at some point. That's how I feel about a lot of things. And a lot of people have really screwed me over or haven't. I just feel like...
Well, if you hang on to that resentment, and we all have seen those people who hang on, like, it's a good thing that you just let it go and see the beauty, and hopefully can rekindle some friendship.
There's certain things that I feel like are worth holding on resentment. Like, there's certain people in my life who, like, there's just
you just have to let them go.
But there's, like, a non-forgiveness. Like, I talked to my therapist about this the other day, and she was like, I need you to stop resenting this person. I was like, I will never.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always going to hold that anger, but it's going to make me stronger.
Yeah. If someone fucks me over, you better watch the fuck out, because I will come back. I'm going to do something to be better and bigger, and like, do not cross me, or thank you for crossing me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Believe in the do not, but also thank you. I mean, there's a very select few people I will let have that energy, but once I get to that level of anger, like, I will never not hold a malice in my heart, but I will move on. Like, I'm not going to let them back in. It's just like, that's the closed door, and that sucks for them.
I mean, same. I immediately, and that is, I'm such a reactionary person, but when you really
And we've had
maliciously or what? Yeah, exactly. When you maliciously or wherever that energy or emotion, and it's because we don't have that energy or emotion. I don't hurt people to make myself feel better.
No.
My life is helping people feel better, and that is truly what makes me happy. So when someone does something that is malicious for their own ego or for their own whatever, it's disgusting to me. And that's what you don't have. You don't have the fucking patience for it because you're not that kind of person.
I think when I was younger, I had, we're all emotional and we're young, and I would like hold on to these things and I would like lash out and be super angry. And like, I just don't have it in me. Like if, if you're just not in my circle, you're not in my circle.
Yeah. But the core values that we both have are that we want to help people. Mm-hmm. But I love what she said about Mira. She said even though Mira doesn't work at your tattoo shop anymore. She has her own. She has her own thing. She loved watching. And in that moment, I was like, this is why me and Sharon love each other and get along, because she loved watching her growth and that she was a part of that. And that is what life's about. And that is probably why we get so pissed off when someone crosses us, because our intentions are real and true. And when yours are not, it's fucking weird to us.
Yeah.
And
I just don't understand in this life, like wanting to watch someone suffer.
Why?
Yeah, even if they...
Or not even considering someone's feelings while you're sourcing your ego.
If you have a bad breakup or a bad falling out, like the point of where you get malicious and cause people to suffer, it just like, it's like if you have to hold on to that much energy for you to feel like you came out of the relationship.
Then I feel sorry for you.
Yeah. Especially like...
What a draining life.
Yeah, I guess like the older I get too, especially because I've been so much younger than everyone for so long. So watching people way older than me do it, I'm like, why?
You ain't telling me nothing. You ain't telling me nothing. Like, it's confusing. I can't, like, that's like my theme word, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's
so confusing because it's not how my brain works. It's not how my emotions work. It's not how my heart works. It's just not my intention. My intention is to build people up.
Yeah, I mean, I think during my most recent breakup, my ex and I were like, obviously going through it as every breakup does, and he called me because he was having a very bad anxiety attack, and I just stopped everything to be like, let's get you out of this. Aww. Because like I've had bad anxiety attacks and it sucks, and it doesn't really matter what we're going through in that moment. He's said he's never experienced one. I was like, God, my first anxiety attack was probably at 12 years old.
Yeah. That's sad though. I mean, and that's really beautiful that even though it's a breakup, he still felt comfortable calling you. That speaks highly of you.
Yeah, I mean, and I was happy he did. And I hope he was happy with, I don't know if he was happy with the result, but I just tried my best to be there as like a person, like a friend, nothing like, just to get someone out of that. Because you never know what someone's going through. And that's my biggest thing in this life is like, I've been a bitch. I think we all have.
Mm-hmm. I definitely have.
Yeah, I definitely have. There's some things obviously in this life none of us are proud of, but like, it's just trying to be better.
But that's everybody, and be better and build others up, and and if you don't like me, then you don't have to. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. But also just be honest about it. Yeah. Don't pretend to like me, for the love of God.
Yeah. Let's just build each other up. Well, this has been a great episode. I mean, definitely want to have you on again. I think we should just have you on again and catch up and just talk about like, because we are very much on the same like path of life. We're business owners. We're navigating that. We're navigating being single. Neither one of us want kids. We think outside of the box. We live our lives much differently and are proud of it than others. And
I also want, like, I think you and I are a good tool to influence women to live outside the box a little bit. Like, it doesn't have
girlfriend,
to be...
if you're home alone, you're fucking awesome. Like, it's okay to be home alone.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't need those kids. You don't need that life. You need your life.
You don't need, if you're sourcing your happiness outside of yourself, you're fucking up. Mm-hmm. And no one can source your happiness the way that you can. Sharon's a valid point of that. Like, she has always strived for things more. Now, we all fall off the wagon and we let someone take some of our energy away. But I love you for always bouncing back.
Yeah, it's about being resilient.
Exactly. So tell everybody where to find your business on social media.
Yeah, it's White Bluff Tattoo Company, White Bluff Tattoo on Instagram. We also have Facebook, and my personal Instagram, Sharon A. Lean, if you want to follow me as well.
Yeah, she's awesome to follow. She travels a lot. I'm jelly, but I'm going to do it with her one day.
Yeah, whenever.
All right. Anytime. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.